Okay, so the first mod you're probably going to want is Achievements Mod Enabler. This basically allows you to use mods within the game and still get the achievements that come with it. Now, this isn't available on consoles yet, but I assume it will come. I think there's something like this Fallout, so I don't see any reason why this won't be available in the near future. So you can actually install this with Nexus Mod Manager at the minute on PC. You will have to install it manually. All you actually have to do is extract the files from the zip folder straight into the Skyrim root directory, which is the file with the executable that you actually launch the game with. Once you've done that, it should work fine. Okay, so the rest of the mods I'm going to mention are already available on Xbox as well as PC. This one is Alternate Start Live Another Life by Arthmore. This actually allows you to skip the entire vanilla intro. There's no Imperial Beheading, no Alduin, no Stormcloaks. You get to choose any start you want from the statue. There are a few available, and each of them, well, most of them have sub-options as well. So let's say I want to start the game living in one of the houses already. I could actually choose to own one of the holds in Skyrim, and this would open up another set of sub-options with all the houses available. And if I go to choose one of these, I will actually spawn in that house with a set of clothing, and it's as simple as that. That's your new start. That's how you start your life in Skyrim. It's great for if you want to roleplay, even if you don't want to roleplay. It's amazing for just that extra bit of immersion or just something different. This is Campfire, a complete camping system which adds a few things to the game and works hand in hand with FROSTFALL. If you haven't heard of FROSTFALL, I'm not going to say you've been living under a rock, but it's something you really need to look into. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is gather some wood, which you can do the vanilla way, or you can do it in the next menu. So if you go to your magic tab and select survival skill or resourcefulness, cast this ability and it will open up a menu. From this menu you can do a few things. So you can harvest some wood, you chop dead wood or gather branches. Each of these take time though, and with FROSTFALL enabled, time is against you, because you could freeze to death whilst waiting. So if you go to craft item, there's a few things you can craft here as well, all to do with hunting and surviving the weather. So this is actually more to do with FROSTFALL than it is Campfire. So we want to go on the previous tab again and head into Build Campfire. So from here we can place it, you can also cancel it if you're not happy with it, and from then if you select use you can actually start building the campfire. So there's actually a little tutorial option that comes up the first time you're actually crafting anyway. But yeah, basically you need to start in the misc section and turn some of your firewood into kindling. You would then go back into wood and add some fuel to the fire. So this is actually quite a sophisticated system. You actually haven't lit the fire yet. You've got to add the kindling and the tinder, and once you've done that you then have to light the fire. And depending on the weather conditions, this could actually be more difficult than you think. You're not just limited to actually lighting with like stone or whatever. You can actually light with magic if your destruction skill is high enough, and I think there are a few other options as well. So once your fire is lit you can build it up more and more. The more you build it up, the longer it stays on and the more heat it emits, and sometimes it gives some other bonuses as well. You can cook on here as well, so when realistic needs and diseases or eye needs or something like that eventually comes out, you'll be able to use this to help cook food as well. Now another part of this mod is tents, which again with FROSTFALL is something that is an absolute lifesaver. To be able to take shelter in a tent, have a campfire outside and stay warm could legitimately save your life. So make sure that if you have FROSTFALL you get campfire. The first thing you want to do is go to a tanning rack and make yourself some tents. And then once you have your tents you will open your inventory and just select them. This will bring up a placement menu just like the campfires. Once you've placed it you can sit down or lie down, sleep, you can turn the light on in there. There's a few things you can do. If you have a companion they will go to lay down on the bed next to you as well. Once you're in the bed, there's actually a few options available for this, but I'm not actually going to go into detail with those. There are actually a few tents available, ones with different amounts of beds in there as well, so you can actually have more people in. Fur protects you more from the cold, if I remember correctly, while leather protects you more from the rain. Well, I actually found this little gem hidden away within the console commands. It actually says on Campfire's Nexus page that backpacks are temporarily unavailable, and it says, I have a surprise in store for these though, more very soon. So maybe it's not as much of a surprise anymore, but it looks like they have a completely new mesh from the old backpacks. They look really nice, but it looks like they're getting a whole new retexture, so look forward to seeing what they turn out like. As long as you have them in your inventory, a lot of things will actually show up on your backpack, like the woodcutter's axe, your torch, even your tent will show up on there, and a few other things. It just looks nice, and again, adds to the immersion. So really looking forward to seeing how this turns out. So it will come as no surprise that the next mod on this Mods Weekly is FROSTFALL, by the same maker as Campfire. Now to start Campfire you'll have to look up into the sky between 7 PM and 7 AM. This will give you a book with various information on surviving the cold, treacherous climates of Skyrim. Once you close the book, there will be a few presets available in terms of difficulty for the mod. I don't think there's actually been a mod released yet that's more immersive than FROSTFALL. It just changes your game completely. It makes it into not a survival game. I don't know, it just adds a whole other level to your game. And with the campsites and stuff like that as well, and especially when realistic needs and diseases comes to Xbox and stuff, you're just playing it in a completely different way. So I highly, highly, highly recommend FROSTFALL and Campfire. So if you ever wondered why the NPCs get to train with these, but whenever you try to do it, it does nothing, well, that's all about to change. This is Practice Dummies by Arthmore. So now when you attack these training dummies, you will actually gain XP for the type of weapon you are using. So if you're using one-handed, it will boost your one-handed skill. This also works with archery. Now don't get the impression that this isn't a cheat mod, because, let's face it, this is sort of cheating. You're leveling up your skill at a much faster rate than normal, but it does cap at 30. So if you feel like you want to cheat a little bit but you don't want to do it too much, feel free to use this. And it's kind of immersive, I suppose. But anyway, this has led me to my final mod for the week. You may have noticed the little quiver hanging from my ass. This is belt fastened quivers. But yeah, I know it's kind of clipping into my ass right now, but that'll be fixed. This again actually is made by the same person as FROSTFALL and Campfire. I'm pretty sure that it was made so that when you're actually wearing a bag on your back, it's not clipping through the bag and it's hung just below it, as you will see right here. It also has a nice little animation that actually gets you to reach around the back rather than reaching over your shoulder. I probably wouldn't use this without the other mods, because I think it kind of looks cool just on the shoulder, but with a backpack you've got to admit that this looks kind of cool. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. This is my first Mods Weekly and I really appreciate any feedback you can give me. Also, if you haven't checked out my Skyrim roleplay series, you really should. It's on my channel. I will link the playlist in my description. It's well worth watching. Wait. Take that. Bring it to me.
No, I won't let you control me.